Listen, did you know that no matter which way you hold up your phone, the market's still crashing? Stay tuned for more. Welcome back to another video. Just when you thought it was safe to start playing with crypto again, the bears manipulated again, and we dropped to 84,000. I wish I had some words and pearls of advice for you, but I have no idea. And watching a lot of people right now, they don't have an idea either. We have a lot of proactive pro things going on in crypto, and we really shouldn't be dropping like this. But yet here we are. So we got to make the most of it. Personally, I can't buy the dip no more. I've been buying the dip and buying the dip, and it's dipped again. Payday's this weekend. Christmas is in a couple of weeks. I don't know what I'm be able to do, but hey, if it keeps going down, I've told y'all before without getting too deep, I'm trying not to make this a long video. I know that's my famous last words, but I promise you this one, because I'm started it very late, is not going to be a long video. But I do have certain levels set at some different tokens. Y'all know the ones I like, and if it gets those levels, I'm gonna purchase a little bit of it. Not a lot, because I don't have a lot to throw on it, but y'all know if VET falls below a penny, find some. Or I'm even going to take some other tokens that are junk tokens, and not like the junk tokens, but some other tokens that I have that I can move around. Probably throw those into VET or Cardano or Bitcoin. Who knows? Before we go any further, y'all know everything is not financial advice. There's nothing in this video that's financial advice. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'll just come online every so often. Seems like lately it has not been as often as normal, just because there's been a lot of stuff going on in life. But hey, this week I'm here to pull the full weekend. We got a lot of things going on we're going to talk about. I will be here Tuesday and Thursday for our lives. You know, those could last anywhere between 50 minutes and 3 hours. Depends on how long y'all want to go. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it. And we just chit chat, and y'all just keep chit chatting, and we just keep chit chatting. And some people like it. Some people don't. It is what it is. But I hope people can get stuff out of it. So let's figure out what's going on. Let's discuss, do a quick overview of some of our projects and a couple of new projects that we're starting to look into. So stay tuned for all that. So yeah, you open up TradingView, up to 80%, Black Friday sale, Cyber Monday sale, whatever you want to call it, but here they are. So here we are with Bitcoin. Y'all know Grumpy's been drawing these lines and showing y'all how some of them fall into place. We were watching this line for a while, and you see that this was resistance. Eventually, we knew eventually it would have to break through, and now it's really going on kind of a sideways pattern. Listen, all bets are off here. I'm not gonna even try to make y'all feel better and give any kind of predictions. I have no idea what the hell's going on. Depending on who you talk to, it's all price manipulation by exchanges, trying to, everybody keeps wanting to put all this leverage and try to open up these longs because they think it's all going back to 100 something. And those longs are getting shaken out, and CEXs are making money. I have to think it's more than that. We heard about an OG with Bitcoin has been moving around $1 billion, a couple $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. But we've been hearing that for a while now. I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on with crypto. People keep asking me, do I think the bull run's over with? I hope not. I mean, did we even really have a bull run? Like, Bitcoin had a bull run. And I think people are missing that point when they say they don't think we had one yet. You know, we did have the halving back in April of 2024. But from that point to our highest point was only 100% increase, where in the past we've seen like 400 and 500, 600% increases. So while some people are arguing Bitcoin did have its run, again, if all the cycles are like they normally are, we should have been much higher. As far as Ethereum's concerned, we went up 60%. So from around the same time as the Bitcoin halving to its highest peak, I hardly call that a run. Did it increase? Sure it did. But that's not the run that we normally expect. So again, I can't give y'all no magic advice. None of this is financial advice. Some of y'all still try to listen to me. The one good thing about not having any kind of extra money right now is I can't go buy nothing. So I don't have to make the decision. What's my fat gut feeling? I think we have to go back up a little bit. You do have some very proactive pro Bitcoin crypto legislature coming out. Trump and his staff are supposed to be pro crypto. You know, you have rates that's supposed to be still dropping. So you should have a couple mechanisms in place. And I'm going to tell you, stocks have been going up also because my stocks with my retirement and work are doing very well. I think crypto has to catch up at some point. You know, there's a lot of negativity, a lot of FUD out there, and just keep your chin up. That's what I'm gonna tell you, because you listen to some of these people on X, they'd make you want to quit crypto if you listen strictly to them. Oh, crypto's just gonna be always manipulated. It's always gonna be this game. We might as well just quit. Might as well get out. You know, part of it is you wonder. This is the first real full cycle we've had when we had the ETF. Are people pulling their money out of Bitcoin to put into stocks because stocks are doing so well? I personally think that's what not a lot of it, but a good amount of this is. Are people taking profits before the end of the year? I don't know. But what happens with our projects? I don't know, because this hurts our projects also that we're about to go over, because you can see some of them, they're about the same as they were last week, but who's going to keep getting into DePin projects if we ain't making any money on DePin projects? This isn't charity work. While you don't want to sound greedy, I don't do it for free either, and you don't do it for free. No matter how much you love a project, majority of y'all want to be compensated. If you're getting into DePin projects right now thinking you're going to get a Lambo, we all know those days are over with. Unless you're buying some meme token or something, and even if that does go 1000x, is there even liquidity to get that money out? You know, it just seems like the tortoise and the hare thing. And now for crypto, you need just the slow and steady growth. But what DePin project is that right now? So let's start going over some of these DePin projects before I make y'all too depressed. So while I was in the middle of recording this, I thought about this and I wanted to go ahead and this has been a while since I've said this, but this is perfect timing. I know some of y'all sick of hearing this over and over, and I understand. And I'm doing my best to try not to keep mentioning this. I know y'all getting sick of it, but times are tight. I know I say it every time, but I'm going to say it for anybody who's here is new. I have a son in college, a daughter who's a senior, finishing up on my IRS payment that I still don't understand how in the hell I owed when I paid extra. I'm paying extra this year, and who knows what next year, but I have to finish that bill. I had surgery over the summer. I got the hospital calling me for that money. Cause you know, I got $4,000 just laying around the sofa, but I'm starting to sell some tokens. Listen, it is not the time to sell. I'm gonna tell all y'all that it is not the time to sell. When you don't sell when the token's as low as they are. However, when times get tight, you're selling some tokens. Now with different projects, I'm selling, and some other projects, I'm not touching them. The projects that I really have good faith that I believe in, I'm not selling. But some of them you just have to. You don't want to. It makes you sick to do it. And my hope is that if these prices stay down, that later this month when I have some extra income rolling in, I'll buy those tokens back on some projects, or I'm just going to buy it and put it into another token. Either way, just it makes me feel better that I balanced it out. But I just wanted to go over that, make sure that everybody understands that I own these tokens, and depending on what project it is and what I feel about them, cashing out when I need to, because I need my lights to stay on at my house. I can't make videos for y'all. Also, make sure you please hit the thumbs up on this video before we get started. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you please subscribe. So first on my projects, last week I put this as number one. Technically it's not number one by itself, but for me in my heart, it's number one because I have made over $1,000 since June with this project, and that's EarnApp. So again, if you only have one device sitting on EarnApp, you're not making what I'm making. I have probably close to 15 devices right now on EarnApp, and I'm doing very well with it. I cashed out EarnApp at the beginning of last week to buy some stuff for me and my son's hunting trip last week, and I'm back up to $40 already in a week. A little more in a week, maybe a week, a little more in a week. But again, I got several devices on it. I got good friends. Friends let me put these devices in different places. I compensate them with other stuff. And I'm just, or I'm paying for networks with different places with all these DePin projects. I'm doing very well with it. But so technically this is not number one, but in my heart, it's number one. So for 1 week, I wanted to give it a number one spot. But for the first time in 23 weeks on this channel, we have a new number one project. And who is that? GeoNet. Now, GeoNet didn't go up. It kind of stayed the same. It's just that Chirp has gone down. Chirp, which we were making $4 and then $3 and $2, is now under $1.52. So we're gonna sit and talk about Chirp, talk about GeoNet. And like I said, the one good thing about GeoNet is its price has basically stayed the same. A 3 or 4% drop is nothing because it was at 0.139 or 13, almost 14 cents last week, and it's still at 13 cents this week. So good job for GeoNet. Even with all this crashing and all this craziness going on, they're still kind of holding tight. They were at really 16 and 15 cents throughout the whole week until just over the weekend. It had this drop again. So it got dropped, but before that, it was actually up compared to where it was last week when we did this video. I saw this on Discord and wanted to share it about the amount of Geo tokens being burned, and they are burning some freaking tokens. That's probably one reason why they are keeping their price as steady as they are. I mean, you had almost $500,000 worth of, and I don't know if this is cumulative where it keeps adding up, but it can't be because then these would be on top here. So this is like every month. No, I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, but either way, that's a hell of a job. And this is how it's supposed to be done, ladies and gentlemen. Some of these other projects need to take note. When we watching their tokens just steadily die, steadily bleed, I keep saying over and over the same rhetoric over and over, how they're supposed to be using liquidity from their project sales, customers buying or whatever, and they should be buying their tokens, injecting liquidity, burning tokens, and that's the mechanism that should be done. And here's GeoNet doing it. Perfect example. So congratulations to this project. All right, so we already revealed it, but we'll go again. Chirp, who was for 23 weeks number one, has fallen out of grace. They're no longer the number one spot. They're now looking up from second place. $1.52, which is still nothing to laugh at in these days and times. Good for a project. If you can get a Blackbird miner and not pay scalping prices on it, I think they were $850, somewhere around there. You're making $1.52 per day right now with the current token price. Token price has not gone down much, honestly, in the last week. They were at 0.025 before. They're at 0.0021. But again, that token is just slowly, when you're getting 72 a day, kind of adds up. And again, when you're getting 72 a day, you're making $1.52 a day. So, hey, we're letting it. I personally can't even find a place to swap them out. Like I said, I've been mining this for a while. I have a good amount of Chirp that's in my wallet and a very large amount staked, which is coming off of staking soon. I got some bills to pay. I got Christmas to pay. And, you know, this is something I wanted to mention earlier. A couple announcements from Chirp. For those of y'all still running Chirp KAGE, time to move on. Bluetooth no longer gives you any points. That version keeps Bluetooth on at all time, quietly eating your battery. So make sure you update your apps. I updated my app when this first was announced, and I was still scanning Bluetooths. And now you can, now with the new update, the newest update, they want you to switch Bluetooth off, but you still need Bluetooth off on your phone, if that makes sense. Either way, make sure you have your app updated. You don't need to be scanning Bluetooth no more. So now you're just getting points for Wi-Fi, for cellular, and for the beacons, which I have not found beacons in weeks. But anyway, they keep talking about this flight log thing. Y'all can look into that if you want. And there's no really any. Fresh wave of beacons has been deployed straight from 2093 into our timeline. Every location you submit in the table now has beacons on the map. This is your moment to move. Get out fast before somebody else claims your reward. So every location, that means that where the small town that I put in when I purchased my scanners or whatever should have a beacon. I can tell you now, I scanned today and did not have a beacon. But what do I know? So this was at 10:26 my time, which is roughly 11 hours ago. But we'll see. I'll go out tomorrow while I'm working and see what I get and see if I can find a beacon or not. And see if this is accurate. We'll see. All right, moving on is Onocoy. Onocoy, price has basically stayed the same. Hasn't really moved. You're still making 91 cents a day and 31 Ono per day. Onocoy has also introduced what they call high value areas. This is kind of like the super hexes or super nodes, whatever they called on GeoNet. But basically, they have certain areas that they need better coverage in, and they call them a high value area. They're starting with Ryad and Jeju Island in Japan. Okay. So now they also have, this was on the 28th, 2 new high value areas are now live: Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Zaragoza. So those are 2 HVAs also. Plan on installing, considering relocating your station. These HVAs present high impact opportunities. And, you know, you can see that on the Explorer. So when you go to the Explorer and you zoom up on the map, here's Sao Paulo, if I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I apologize. But you can see how they have this one area right here that is an HVA high value area. Today they put out another announcement. If you're in Japan, there are many more high value areas supposedly in Japan. So if you're in that area, know somebody in that area, that might be for you. But that's all they got. Moving on to number 4 is ROVR. I've been trying to keep up every Monday with what I'm getting on ROVR between kilometers driven and tokens, and I have been averaging between 1 and 1.08 per kilometer. So with the current price, I've always averaged, just so I can keep it the same on here, is, you know, because what I make a week, you're not going to make that because we all drive separate areas. So what I try to say is, hey, if you got a 25-mile trip to work, 25-mile back, or hey, maybe it might be 20 miles each way, but then you drive to lunch every day or something. I don't know. So I try to use the same average of 80 kilometers a day. And what you normally average, you're still getting about 74 cents a day. So I still have a lot of faith in ROVR. I think it's going to be a good project. Time will tell. So they have this partnership with Zelos Tech, by providing data their worldwide autonomous delivery operations with 10,000 plus vehicles around the world. They can tolerate all these temperatures, and the receiving rover networks data allows for more robust world model view in which their own AI, robotics, and autonomous vehicles can be better prepared for more situations. So that's a cool little deal. Rover has completed a data sale in compliance with its permanent burn mechanism. Again, we just talked about this with GeoNet. Here you go. They've allocated 60% of the sale to buy. That's awesome. That's a big deal. 60% of the sale to buying circulating rover and permanently burning them. That's huge, man. 60%. You know, you would think it would take it as profits and trying to make back some of this money of building this network and doing all the infrastructure and all the stuff they did. You know, they took 60% of that sale to buying Rover. This pairs with the fact that Rover Network has permanently renounced its minting authority of Rover. That means whatever the available supply is, and that's all it is. There's no more minting authority. So each platform will have news in the future. So that's a good deal with Rover. I told you I like this project, and you know, I know some of y'all have gotten a light cone, and y'all are making bank with it. So congratulations to y'all. I still think my wife would take it and hit me over the head if I tried to put that on her car. I definitely can't put it on my work vehicle. And my son wouldn't let me put it on his vehicle either. So, but those who are doing a lot of driving and have a light cone, they're cleaning up. Not financial advice. I'm not telling you to go buy one. I think they're sold out. But those Rover light cones are doing very well. Very well. Congratulations to Rover. Number 5 is Entropy. Now you can see there is a huge jump between number 4's token a day and number 5's token a day. Entropy's getting hit like a lot of these other projects. A lot of this is also Solana. Solana's taking a huge price hit, and you're seeing the other projects in Solana based on Solana are being hit also. So really the only announcements that they've had is that they have a special going on right now. It might even be over by the time you see this video, but there was an Ashler's on sale for $99 if you wanted to buy another Ashler. Right now they're making 37 cents a day. Plus, when you buy the Ashler, you also have to buy an NFT to mine with the Ashler. So I don't know. I don't know how sales been doing or anything like that. No, it's still, while this looks like it's a big dip, this is really zoomed in because this has all been 5 zeros and a 2. So it's been a 2-4, then 2-3, 2-2, now 2-1. So it's still in that 2/1000th. Is that what that is? I don't know. But hopefully Entropy has something up their sleeve to kind of reverse this. Like I said, it ain't just Entropy. It's all the projects. We're going to talk about another one in a second that's doing the same thing. So don't take this as just being on Entropy. I am seeing some of that liquidity go down where before it was up to 250, then it was up to 300 at one point. Transactions are down a little bit, but it hurts when I have the amount of Entropy I have. But you know, you're not supposed to sell it. You're supposed to hold on to it until the next reiteration of the project. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. Moving on. Next is going to be junk, which is what I was leading towards. Junk is basically doing kind of the same thing. This is really zoomed out. So when you zoom in, you know, last week we were about here. It's come down some. You've only had 2 transactions. Look, the guy who's in this, he's in my Discord every now and then. Cool guy. I got nothing negative to say about him or anything like that. But I don't know if this needs to go into the next section below. But I don't know what's going on with junk. Yeah, like I said, Crypto Will was a good guy. Like I have nothing negative to say about him. No new announcements or anything like that. So we'll see what happens with this project. But again, making 26 cents a day with junk. Moving on is DIMO, and best keeps getting better. So DIMO price is down to 11. I'm sorry, a penny and 3/4. I don't know what the hell you want to. 0.0179. Fun fact is this price is down 20% since last week. So I don't know what the hell Demo's got going on. I don't know what they're doing, but they better do something quick. Right now, you're making 11 cents a day. No announcements at all on DIMO. Y'all know, fun fact, I keep telling y'all about where I am with my DIMO tokens, especially with ROVR for my 3 devices. I have now, I guess towards the end of this month, it will be officially 2 years with this project with the 3 devices I purchased. I also, about 7 or 8 months ago, received 2 devices for free from a friend of mine who said he wasn't even bothered running this project, so he gave it to me. So basically, I have been running 5 devices since April, May. And I don't know a lot of y'all, so I'm going to find out exactly what I have. But again, I have 3 devices. They were $89 a piece, so that's 90. That's $270. $270. I now have $169. I have never sold a DIMO. It's just sad. What's new? There's nothing new I can say about DIMO or anything like that. If you are in this project, you know how bad it is. Maybe you need to announce another subscription because it seems like that's the only time this project woke up. Price had a pretty decent price increase from there. They got subscriptions now, so they don't have the expenses of the project paying for your connectivity on some of your devices. So you would think that would help out a little bit. I don't know if they got paying customers. Technically, we kind of know they don't because they explained to before it was up to us to go sell the data. So is this project even making money at all to buy data and burn DIMO like we talked about with these other projects? I don't think so. Moving on, number 8. Oh, I moved one. Honey Game Pawns. I'm basically, y'all know that I'm running any, wherever I can run that on my devices, Wingbit DIY devices or desktops or anything like that. I run in Honey Game Pawns other than my home network on my computer right here. 375 AI. They've also seen a little bit of a price decrease in the last week, down 20%. So that's basically 4.5 cents down to 3.5 cents, a little more than 3.5 cents. So that price has come down. We were hoping it was going to recover, but see, and that is I just realized that and I'm not going to re-record this, but I need to move this up because I just calculated this and it was 28 cents now. So really this should be up here in the number 6 spot, but we'll fix it for next week. 375 AI was a completely free project. There is some equipment sales for the more expensive devices you can get, but for us just riding around scanning, it works. Runs in the background of your phone. It's easy. What I am finding is that when you don't drive that much, well, I drive back and forth to work. I'm not getting any new hexes. It doesn't pay worth a damn. However, the week before that, or 3 weeks before that, when I went to Missouri for hunting on that 8 or 10 hour drive, whatever it was, and 8 or 10 hours back, I made pretty good with 375 AI. I think I made like 700 tokens this time. Last time I made like 2,000 and something tokens. So I'm checking the Discord. There's no really new news or anything from 375 AI. So moving on. Next is going to be Nubila. Nubila's got some weirdness going on. I don't want to start claiming anything because I don't know facts, but there's some very shady. I'm not trying to create FUD. You can see for yourself, but there's some very shady things going on with Nubila right now. I hate to see it because it's something that I talked about very highly about, thinking it was going to be different than what Weather Underground is. And right now they're both paying about the same. You're making about 12, at least I am. I'm making about 12 and a half Nubila per day on my Marco weather device. I am making 0.0 per day on my node that I paid for. I don't want nobody to think I got that thing free. I paid $300 out of my own pocket for a node for Nubila because I believed in the project. We're making 0.0 a day. Several people, including myself, have been complaining on the Discord, and their answer recently was, well, we didn't start nodes yet. It's not how it was explained to us. We were explaining that we were going to be getting rewards and bonuses and all kinds of stuff. And I think we got 2 drops back in October, maybe, I think it was, when it first, I don't know. And that was it. And not too happy with what's going on with that. Yeah, Nubila also gets my WTF award for the week on what exactly is the foxtrot going on with this token. While it does look good and you're like, holy hell, it's up 42% for the week. It was up even more. It was up from 0.006 to 0.002. So, hey, if you believed in this project and you bought the dip, you did very well if you sold here. But when you come back for the month, you realize it's down 88% still. For a couple of days, it was up in this 10 cent, 9 cent, 10 cent range, and it just fell and just dropped and dropped and dropped with no explanation on what the hell's going on and why, why this happened. Your volume went down a lot also. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Nubila. If you go into the Discord, it's getting kind of rough in there too. I don't know. I think one of my biggest issues is there's not been any talk since all this has happened, since you've had this price crashing and people have gone crazy in the Discord over no node rewards. What's going on with the price? You're making 11 cents a day. The team, the owners, whatever you want to call it, has been mum the word. They're not on here saying, guys, we're working on it. Guys, we're striving for the future. Hey, it's just a bump in the road. They're not saying nothing. This is when a project, if you want to take you seriously, that this isn't some kind of rug pull or something like that, and you got over on us on devices and nodes, y'all should be in this announcement thing, making us feel a little warm and fuzzier inside. And right now, that's not happening. Not happening at all. I don't know what this rebate thing is in the better BE3TR token channel, but people are asking about today's supposed to be some kind of rebate day. I don't see it. I haven't heard nothing about that. This is where somebody said, again, people asking about earnings for our nodes. Node validation is already in the works, and the plan is for it to go live this month. Once that launches, you will start to see your node awards. It's not how it was explained to us, but at least they answered the question. A lot of people talking about they missed the newbie token deadline to retrieve their tokens. You're going to have time to do that. There's going to be another open time frame. I don't like how that is. It's our tokens. There shouldn't be a time frame of when we could, I think that's crappy because some people have lives and can't keep up with these projects every day. Even though I have said, if you are in testnet projects, you have to be keeping up with the Discords. Said that about many projects, but still, some people just have stuff to do. So, just keep up with what's going on in the Discord. Moving on. WeatherXM. WeatherXM is actually making more than Nubila. Damn. And for the week, Nubila is only down 2%, which is really nothing. So I'll give props where props are due. Congratulations to them. There are no announcements at all in their announcement section for WeatherXM, and nothing really going on in their Discord. You know, you're not the only one. I have mine right here. It seems like as soon as I get one working, the other one quits working. This one has been down for like 2 or 3 weeks now. I have brought it inside, killed all the batteries in it, killed everything basically in it in the dark room for 2 days, trying to put batteries back into it, and I still can't get it to work. And honestly, at 11 cents a day, who gives a damn? Or 16 cents a day. I actually had somebody contact me today saying they're done with WeatherXM. They don't want to deal with no more. Do I want their station? Not really. I don't know. This says rewards vault and pooler on Arbitrum. I don't know. Moving on. Next is going to be grass. Need Pepto-Bismol before I start talking about these projects. So what's this say? Oh, grass dropped another 23%. Oh, well, it must be the start of another epoch. Yep, it sure is. I've never seen a project intent on driving themselves into a brick wall at 100 miles an hour more than this project. Even DIMO has tried to do something to try to help themselves out. This project is determined to put that square peg in a round hole, and they don't care if they got to take a jackhammer to make it done. This project is losing faith every time a new epoch starts because they know, despite they have the ass kissers in here and despite the cheerleaders, majority of people don't want to wait 18 months to get paid. And I know it's like a broken record, and I know I keep doing these spiels every time I do grasp. I feel like I have to justify my hatred towards the project right now. And to me, this is just sad. And it's not this hard to do rewards when you already did rewards once. It's nothing new. It shouldn't take this hard. And what's going to suck is that people can get pissed off all they want, but they're not going to quit because the thing runs in the background. So they're going to do what I do, is you let them run on whatever computers, because you can only run them on your desktop, Windows desktop now. So you let it run. And if it crashes and it doesn't work, guess what? It don't work. I don't want to show you all my IPs, but I guarantee you out of the 8 or 9 IPs that should be working, I guarantee there's only 3 of them, maybe 4. I don't give a shit. Screw grass. You can't pay me. I'm not running it. It is what it is. I keep reading all these posts about don't expect the kind of rewards you got last time. And that might do a lot of people in. People might say, screw it, I'm not running this period, and I'm erasing it. And I'm waiting to see that, if that happens. If not, people might just continue to run it and continue to run it. But you're up to Epoch 14 right now. The first time we ran this in stage 1, we had 7 plus a bonus epoch. This is sad. And again, they already did rewards at the end of this epoch. So they had the reward mechanism down. It ain't that hard. You don't hear nothing from this project other than the other day they put out a little tribble about we come out with our little device. The only thing they announced was that Epoch 14 has begun. Quick update on last epochs. Whatever. Quick repack. Revenue growth from 0 to 12.8 million projected Q4. I think this has to be a typo. How do you go from no revenue growth to 12.8 million in 1 quarter? I don't understand that. You have 8.5 million monthly active participants. There's 8.5 million people in this project. I just can't believe that number either. I've heard like 1 million. I've heard 1.5 million, but 8 million people that are mining grass. First grass token buybacks are underway. Native smart wallet. Why do we? I said this last video. Why do we need another wallet for this project? It's on Solana. There's enough wallets available. Why do you need an internal wallet? I think they're just stalling. And then they come out again. this stupid device, whatever it is. I don't know where the hell it's at, but they brought up this device again that they're trying to sell, and you wonder if they just try. That's what they're waiting on, is waiting to get this device out before, they try to sell it. Because if they give out rewards now and they suck, they're not gonna be able to sell as many devices. I'm wondering if that's what it is. I don't know. I told myself I wasn't gonna take all this time on this stupid project, and here I am. Moving on, Natix. I actually do have my Natix numbers. Let me update that real quick. So last month I made about 8,000 tokens, but I drove my rear end off during November. Y'all know that. Again, not to sound like a broken record. I went to Mississippi, went to the hunting camp, then I went hunting over the weekend, and I drove my butt off. So I went from 8,000, it made $4 to 23,000, and now I made out of 23,000 $8.25, which ends up being 27 cents a day. And like I told y'all, I drove my rear end off. Natix, while it was a free project, you just turn the app on your dashboard of your car and you drive around. Listening to them in the beginning, a year or two ago, I thought they'd be a little better than us, but I don't know. And maybe I need to pull them out of the battle for last place, because apparently they're still trying. Natix is not only attending, but will be featured at the Solana Breakpoint in Abu Dhabi. So that, I guess, is pretty cool. They're still working, still trying to do something. And we'll see. Wish them all the luck. That is basically the only announcement from Natix. So moving on, getting this through Silencio. I have not claimed my raffle tickets for November. So you're October into November. I know that my staking is slowly running out, so I'm not expecting any Silencio. The only thing I cannot find is I did some on video with y'all, was some of the translation, just so I could say I tried it out for Silencio, where you read the things on the websites, and I did about an hour's worth. I don't see where those tokens populated in my account at all. They both have the same email address. I don't know if there's a way you're still supposed to link them. I don't know how that works, but by the next video, I will have a video on how many raffle tickets I pulled and what were my tokens and what they were worth. I'm not expecting much of anything at all. Helium IoT, same old. Prices down. It was at 217 or something like that last video. It's at $1.90 now. So we went from about 7 cents a day to about 6 cents a day. It's actually disgusting. I was talking to another group. I was actually in a Discord thing right before I started this video. That's why I'm late starting it. And some people were asking me in that group about Helium and what was the background with Helium and what was my part, and what did I do and what was I making. And I told them the whole story that I tell y'all countless times about making $5,000 in 17 days. And you're like, holy hell. And I'm like, yeah. And now I'm making 0.03 HNT a day out of 17 stations. It's each station. So I'm making about 6 cents a day. And they're like, holy hell. So this is a perfect example of why you have to time these projects right. People keep asking what I think about the Helium token. And I've said many times, if we get back to $10, we'll be I'm talking about ever. I think we'll be ecstatic and you should be happy. If I can get it back to $4 or $5, I'm probably dumping the majority of it. Helium's price went up years ago because of the amount of devices that were being sold, and the onboarding fees and everything else that they were burning and buying and stuff like that. You're never going to see that again, because nobody's buying stations and onboarding stations like that, like the manufacturers were. We went from, when I started it, we were at about 20,000 devices, and we went up to 920,000 devices. And now we're back down to 200 something thousand. You're not going to see that kind of onboarding again. So I think, $250, $3 might be the most. I don't know, but I'm slowly taking some of my Helium stations offline and probably making Meshtastic nodes. But that is a whole, or mesh core nodes. That is a whole different project for another day. Next is going to be testnet. Wingbits. I did a huge video last week on Wingbits. Please go capture it. I don't want to really take up too much more time on this video, but Wingbits has decided to do a buyback option. So now when you go to the Wingbits from now over the next, I think it's 10 days, when you go to Wingbits' website, you can now see an early redemption reward. And what it is, again, this was in the AMA. That video is out. And again, I did a video on about this. And what's going to happen is they took a guesstimate of what the evaluation should be, and it came to a price of 0.005 cents. Some people were not happy about that. Look, they know it was a little bit on the low side, but they would rather be low and safe than too high. And basically, there's certain criteria. If you have over, I think it's 15,000 wings, you are allowed to claim half those wings now and get whatever you claim. If you want to claim 2,000 wings, then whatever 2,000 wings times 0.005 is, sometime on or around December 15th, they will drop you that in your choice of either USDC or Solana. Again, there's a whole video. I don't want to go into the whole details of it. There's a whole video that I made that you can go watch. We talked about it on my last live, which was last Tuesday. We didn't do a live on Thursday because of Thanksgiving. And they also have their own video out, I believe, on their AMA. I think actually has released that, if I'm not mistaken. So y'all can go check all of that and get all the fine details and stuff. Thing about it is if you cash those out now, you do not get the 20% for those tokens, the 20% bonus. People keep asking me what I'm going to do. I don't lie to y'all. Y'all know that I am going to take a little bit out just because I have 1.4 million tokens. Fun fact is I was told by somebody in the project that I am, as of right now, the #1 miner participant in that project. You know, I have been with this project for 2.5 years. I think it's been one of the first of like 4 or 5 stations in the United States, and I'm running 15 stations. Part of me is with my ego. I don't want to lose that #1 spot, but I just told y'all early in this video, I know y'all sick of hearing of it, but times are stupidly tight, and a good chunk of change could make me sleep a little better. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I know I'm gonna pull a little bit out, but I don't know how much. It ain't gonna be nothing crazy. Somebody said, man, you need to take half of that out. No, I'm not taking half of that out. But if the token releases and it's under 0.005 because the rest of the market is tanking, you're gonna wish you took some 0.005 out. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I am kind of looking at it like this: is I know Wingbits wants to release at the best optimal time that they're ready to support this project and support this token and support the buyback and stuff like that. But the crypto market's pretty strong itself. There's only so much they can do. But I've also told y'all my guesstimate of what the price would be upon, you know, token TGE, which we think is going to be Q1 of 2026 now. And my token kind of price guesstimate, and some of y'all's, is above 0.005, well above 0.005. So we'll have to see, you know. I personally think this is an awesome thing Wingbits is doing for people who have, especially people who have been in this project for 1.5 to 2 years, who have been waiting for TGE. They got expenses they have to pay. They got host fees they got to pay and stuff like that. Some people knock it. Can't please everybody. You'll never be able to please 100% of everybody. Moving on, Combinder. No news at all on Combinder at all. I try looking at Telegram. It gets me dizzy and I want to puke because it makes me dizzy. I don't know what's going on with Combinder. BrushO is even more confusing because I know they went through some type of TGE because the Brush token is now active, like they're giving it to you, but I can't find it being traded. I can't find any information on it. I really don't know. One day I got to really sit down and try to get to the bottom of what the hell's going on with BrushO. 4D Sky. We talked about 4D Sky last week. I did a video on 4D Sky. Helium deploy screwed up all our codes. So for those of y'all who bought 4D Sky devices and attempted to use my code or any other YouTuber's code, y'all were unable to, but I appreciate it. That's all I can really say. I didn't know how 4D Sky was going to do. You know, I still have my 4D Sky right here that I got in. I was out of town last week for Thanksgiving. It's been raining yesterday, today. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. It's supposed to rain through the week, like every day. I don't know when I'm going to get my 4D Sky installed. But despite the price tag of it, Helium Deploy had an allocation of 200 devices and they sold out in hours. Get out. This Wednesday, which is December 3rd, they will be having another allocation of 200 devices that are supposed to be going on sale. And my code will work by then. Grumpy Dad 56. And you should be able to get $50 off max off of each device. They have changed the code after a lot of complaints. So if you want to buy 3 4D Skies, my code will now give you $50 off each device, where before in the past it was a $50 off the final sale and that was it. Now it's $50 off anything over $500. It's $50 off each device that's over $500. So one code to rule them all on Helium Deploy with 4D Sky. We're going to have some more info on 4D Sky as time goes on. CapturGo is a new project that we stumbled across. Somebody gave it to me. There will be a code underneath, a referral code to join, which helps you out with some points to start out with, and of course it helps the channel out, and I'd appreciate it. It is exactly like 375 AI. It runs in the background of your device. For right now, it only runs on Apple iOS phones. However, it is coming very soon to be released on Android phones. So it's another very easy project that you can just sit in the background and you can just run it. I do find that you need to check it a little more often than 375 AI because it does sign you out. However, the people are aware of that and said they are currently working on it. That's why it's in beta. So also, another project that I just found out about literally about 5 minutes before I was signed up to be a alpha or beta or whatever in this project. And originally this project was going to be called Worldwide AIS. Now I have played with AIS. This is nothing new. This is kind of like, think of Wingbits, ADSB, but for boats. And how we used to do ADSB in the past, and then Wingbits came along to add the little DePin spin to it. Think of boat tracking, but with a DePin spin. Worldwide AIS has now changed to Mastchain. Now, I have not looked into this anymore. I had Who Farted from my Who Farted. If y'all are in my Discord, Who Farted comes up with some projects. I don't know where he finds them or whatever like that at. Some of them he tries to keep close to his vest, and some he tells us about. He found out about Worldwide AIS before, and I signed up for the alpha or the beta testing, whatever that didn't get picked. And then Burrito, who I trust a lot, who likes to dig into a lot of these new projects, also told me about Mastchain, and he said Mastchain used to be Worldwide AIS, but it is now Mastchain. I have not looked again. I started looking at this 5 or 10 minutes before this video, but I've already messed with AIS. I have the equipment for AIS, and I am very likely going to start messing with this soon as time allows me to. I currently have like 3 or 4 Wingbit stations down between me and my friends, and I have to get those back up ASAP. They've been down since early last week or before that. I couldn't get to them last week because of Thanksgiving. As soon as I can get that caught up, I'm going to start digging into Mastchain, and I'm probably going to try to get a station online, depending on what it costs me. So Mastchain is another project I'm looking at. All right, so I hope that video was a little bit shorter than usual. It always starts off where I think it's going to be short and ends up being longer, but I'm not feeling well. Allergies and dust over the weekend were killing me. And you can see my nose is red and everything from blowing it so much. But I appreciate all the support of the channel. We will be back by the time this airs. This usually airs Tuesday. So tonight we will be on at 7 p.m. Central on live. Come on down. Feel free to donate into the pot if you want. No, just joking. We'll be talking about the Mastchain probably a little bit. Talking about everything going on with Wingbits, because everybody, that's the hot topic right now. And, you know, maybe CapturGo and some of these new projects too. I'm sure these guys will bring it up. So again, we don't have any kind of set agenda. We just start chit-chatting about it. I throw a subject out there, and people ask me about a subject, and we just chit-chat about it. And we go on for 3 hours sometimes. Come in, stay as long as you want, and check out. I appreciate the support. So that's it for me. Thank you all very much. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you spent it with some family, made some quality time, made some memories. I know I did. And it was a good time with family. So thank y'all. See y'all next video.